Today we have a 2013 Nissan Altima with a 2.5. It's got a CVT transmission. At 60, you're supposed to do a drain and fill on these. I'm going to show you the easy and logical way to do it without the pump, the scanner, and all that kind of stuff. So I will show you where it's located and how to do it. So this is the Nissan 2013 Nissan 2.5, which should be the exact same all the way up to 2018. Your tranny dipstick should be right here, but for whatever unit on this CVT, they decided to say it was lifetime fluid and all that kind of stuff until they started having problems. Now they say you can take it in as a part of service, but it costs like $350. So most people aren't going to do that. So I'm actually going to show you a way of doing it. There's other ways of doing it, but this I'm trying to make it as simple as possible. So I'm going to show you how I'm going to do that. This is actually a tool, like $250 worth of tool. This is like $30. Got quite a few of these to do, so I might as well do it this way. The fluid is actually be between 23 to 30 right there. And this motor is hot. So to make it as simple as possible, you drive it around the block, and then I'm going to take these two screws out, remove this cap, and check it and see where it's at right now before I drop the fluid. And it's not that you can't get it at this, but I'm just going to take this screw and this screw over here out just so it's easier to get at. And I know a lot of people have shown different ways of doing this, and it's kind of confusing for whatever reason. You got to fill it with a squirt bottle, let it drain out so much. Most cars, you just check when they're hot and they're running or whatever, how it should be. So this is kind of basically the same thing. I'm just going to show you how we did it. This is plastic, you just move it around there. Okay, that one's smooth. You can see this is locked on. You put this on there like this, push it down, pull it over, pull it up a little ways like that, and it pulls right off. And you can see there's a clip in there. You could put a screwdriver in here and undo that, but since we're going to do a lot of them, I figured I wanted to get the proper tool. This tool actually works for different Nissans. Depends what one you have. Like a Murano might be this, but for this vehicle, it's the blue. So you just twist it back like that, and you actually put it down there when it's not running because you want to see where it's at. The motor's hot. Like I said, we just went around the block with it. And this is supposed to be between 23 to 30 according to the chart. And you can tell we're right up about 30. So right now, we're going to drain the fluid, measure what we have so we're in the ballpark, and then we're going to shoot for the same thing exactly. It was supposed to be between 23 and 30 according to the chart, but visually we see that it is right around 30. Here we have your transmission, of course. This would be your drain plug, which is a 19 millimeter. And this is actually like a weep hole. And what they want you to do, well, let's go back. First thing you can do, we're at 60,000. We're just gonna do a drain and fill, which will be just removing this. If I was gonna change the filter, I'd take all these outside bolts, remove the filter, and then put a gasket on and put that back on and do the same procedure here the rest of the way. But we're not doing that since we only have 60, that'll be done at 90. Okay. So what they want you to do on this, I think the temperature is supposed to be 104. Once you get this drained, and you're supposed to be nice and level, you're supposed to put this in here, put a little tube in there, and pump it up so many gallons, and then drain this plug until it comes out at a certain speed. Just something that most people are not going to do at home. I mean, most people like to do it the old-fashioned way. You just check it when it's hot. I mean, it's simple. So what we're going to do is just drain this right here, and then I'm going to lower it down a little so all the fluid gets out of there, put my 19 back in, and then I'm going to fill it. I'm actually going to measure what fluid I get out of here. If I get 4 quarts or 5 quarts, I'm going to put 4 quarts in, and then I'll get the motor warm, go forward a little, backwards a little, and then I will put it up. It's supposed to be between 23 to 30. Then I'm going to do that, and that should be perfect. Okay, once we drain this, I am going to measure it, so when I put it back in, we'll be in the ballpark. And we have 60. Next time we change it, we'll be 90, and at that time, we'll also do the fluid. I mean, not the fluid, but the filter. Okay, we lowered the car so it was level, And now you can see it's barely dripping like that. You're gonna give it another minute, and then we're gonna put our 19 millimeter back in, and we'll double check and see how much fluid we have. Before you put your plug back in, make sure that your little seal is still in place, and then you can reinstall it. This is the bucket we used. You can tell not that much came out actually, so I would guess 3 quarts or so, 3 to 4 quarts max. So put it in this 1 gallon container and see how much we got. So everything fit in here. Of course, there's 4 quarts to a gallon. So I would just say put 3.5 or so, move it back and forth a couple times, and then we will check it with our dipstick. On this Altima, of course, it has a CVT transmission. So what you want to do is make sure that it meets the specifications from the dealer. And it's going to be NS3 for this car. And actually, this actually covers NS1, NS2, and NS3. If you buy the Nissan fluid, it's usually $20. I think this at Walmart is $5.99. I'm going to put a funnel in. Of course, it fits. Pour it in nice and slow. I mean, the other way they have it, where it's got to be 104 for temp, you got to use a pump and use a scanner to get it to make sure it's at 104. I hate to say it, with all those variables thrown in, most people aren't going to change their tranny fluid. I've actually had very good luck with Castrol fluid. I use that in the engines for my cars. I think BMW uses it, so you know it's a good quality oil. So we used a smaller funnel, so we didn't spill anything. Put it in nice and slow. This is the tranny fluid we used. You can tell it's not quite a full gallon, so we put 3.5 in, which I might have to adjust later, but I know that it had 30, just under 4 gallons, and that's maximum I want to put in. So what I'm going to do is take this out, put the top back on it, move it back and forth nice and easy, drive it down the road, or let it idle and get up to temp, and then double check it. So I ran the motor for 10 minutes, and I put it in reverse for 5 seconds, drive 5 seconds, did that a couple times. I put this in here, push it like that, lift it a certain, gotta lift it just to get that, see that hook right there? Gotta get that hook right there, like that, push it like that, raise it just a little, and it comes right out. Okay, now we're gonna check it. The motor's hot, so it should be like at you're supposed to check it like 180 to 190 with this. And we were supposed to be between 23. So right there, we are almost perfectly 130. So that's good enough to put it back together. Now I'm gonna drive it down the road, see how it does, and I'll probably check it one more time. So we checked that, it's in operating range. So we're just gonna put this in, make sure that clips like that. Put your little plastic piece back in. Gotta kind of wiggle it around there. Like that. Sits in there like that, 2 screws. Okay, that's all it takes to do your 60,000 mile drain and fill on a 2013 Nissan Altima with a 2.5 CVT transmission.